morning. We'll call the meeting to order of May 13th, 2021. The Lake County Zoning Board of Appeals. This meeting is being held through electronic participation pursuant to Section 70 of the Illinois Open Meetings Act, the Governor's Disaster Proclamation and written determination of the Lake County Board Chair. The meeting is being recorded and live streamed at lakecountyil.gov/watch-ZBA. Remote attendance has been made available to the public via Zoom, as well as the second floor conference room at the Lake County Permit Facility, 500 West Winchester Road in Libertyville. As a reminder to board members, please ensure that your camera's on when you're speaking and voting. If you wish to speak, please raise your hand virtually or just give us a wave. If you're calling in on the phone, press *9 to raise your hand or *6 to mute and unmute. And with that, Brad, if you would give us a roll call.
Member Hackney.
Present.
Member Peterson.
Present.
Member Rindle.
Present.
Member Roche.
Present.
Member Starkey.
Present.
And Chair Kaplan.
Here.
The 6 today, 6 present.
Sounds good. Anything added to the agenda, Brad?
No.
Nothing on the agenda, no deferred matters. With that, this is a legal public hearing, so anyone that's going to make testimony or have comments or questions needs to be sworn in. So if you would raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you all. With that, we will begin with the ZBA case 635-2021, and we'll start with the staff presentation on that. Then the board will go ahead and ask any questions of staff. Following that, the petitioner will make his or her comments, and then we'll turn it back to the board for comments, and then we'll open it up to the public. So with that, I'll turn it over to staff.
Do you want to say the pledge?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I forgot about that. We got the flag up there. So Linda, if you would lead us in the pledge, that'd be fantastic.
Are we waiting for the flag?
Yeah, I think Chris is popping it up there.
Just 1 second.
No worries. Thanks. All you, Linda.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Perfect. Thank you, Member Starkey. And with that, I will turn it over to staff for the staff presentation on 635.
Applicants seeking a variation have the burden of proving to the Zoning Board of Appeals that the required standards of the UDO have been met, even if there are no objections to the variation. At the conclusion of today's case, the ZBA must make a finding of fact, identifying its reasons for granting or denying the variation. The board may require the petitioner to meet certain conditions so that the use allowed by the variance will not have a negative impact on nearby properties. The applicant and public will have an opportunity to make suggestions regarding appropriate conditions. ZBA case number 000-635-2021 is a variation request to reduce the north side street setback from 25 feet to 14 feet to allow for the construction of an above ground pool. The applicants are Paul M. and Jennifer R. Siebert, record owners. The property address is 34189 North Red Top Road, Round Lake, Illinois. It is approximately 0.2 acres and is a non-conforming lot in the R4 zoning district. The legal notice for the case was published by the Daily Herald on April 27, 2021. Correspondence about the case has been received from the Lake County Division of Engineering, Building, and Public Works. Mr. Siebert will present the application today. I'm happy to take questions.
Sounds good. Any questions of staff before we turn it over to the petitioner? Hearing and seeing none, Mr. Siebert, if you would like to give us a rundown of what you're trying to do.
Thank you very much, sir. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the board. As Mr. Schifolo mentioned, we are attempting to build a above ground pool in our backyard. The backyard is currently fenced in with a 6-foot opaque privacy fence. However, it's heavily divided up with numerous easements and a 25-foot building line. This limits the area that can be used for any accessory buildings like a pool or something like that. And the only area that's buildable is currently occupied with a moderately sized concrete patio. By allowing this variance in the building line, it frees up area to the north of the patio that would allow for the construction of an above ground pool. This pool will be 4 feet tall, so it would be hidden behind the 6 foot opaque privacy fence. And then above the pool will be 3 feet of this aluminum fencing that's got bars and some gaps in between it, so that way it still maintains the openness that's associated with that 25-foot building line, the effort to maintain an open subdivision. So it shouldn't affect the openness of the subdivision at all. This subdivision is part of a homeowners association, the Prairie Point Homeowners Association. They've reviewed this request and approved it, demonstrating harmony within the local subdivision. We discussed this with our neighbors. We have no concerns with the variation to allow the construction of the pool. Much
Sounds
of this
good.
is well captured in the report that was submitted. Having any questions, that's all of my comments.
Great. Sounds good. Thanks, Mr. Siebert. At this time, we'll go around to board members if they have any questions. First, member Hockney. Any questions of the petitioner?
I have no questions. I think it's a very well done submittal. Easy to understand, no problem.
Thanks, Jay.
Great. Thanks, Denny. Member Peterson.
No comments, no questions.
Perfect. Member Raymond. Is Marv with us today?
Marv is not with us.
He's not. That's right. Sorry about that. Member Reindl. That's who I'm looking at. The other white-haired guy.
No comment at this time.
Sounds good. Thanks. Member Roche.
No questions.
Perfect. Member Starkey.
No questions.
Sounds good. And no questions of myself either. Again, it was well put together and a nice presentation this morning. I'm assuming we'll be okay once we go around, but if you just want to hold tight, Mr. Siebert, before we, if you have any comments before we close testimony, we're happy to take those, and then we'll go around and just make sure everybody's on board.
I have no further comments. Thank you.
Sounds good. Let's go around before we close testimony. Member Hockney, how you feeling?
Good with it, no problem.
Member Peterson?
No, no issues. All good.
Okay, sounds good. Member Reindl?
I'm comfortable with it.
Good. Member Roche?
No problems.
Perfect. And Member Starkey?
No problems.
Perfect. Sounds good. With that, a motion's in order then to close testimony unless you have any other comments, Mr. Siebert, which I think you're looking good. So I think we'll have a motion then if somebody would make that, please.
Motion to close.
Member Peterson with first. Is there a second? Second for Member Starkey. Any discussion? Brad, a roll call, please.
Member Starkey,
Aye.
member Peterson,
Aye.
member Hockney,
Aye.
member Reindl,
Aye.
member Roche,
Aye.
Chair Kaplan.
Aye.
Testimony is closed.
Sounds good. And with that, a motion would be in order on this case.
Also move. Moving to approve variance case number 0000635-2021 to allow the petitioner to build a above ground pool, meeting all the variance criteria as and that the structure be consistent with the site plan according to this case application.
Sounds good. Perfect. First from Member Peterson, is there a second?
Second.
Second from Member Hockney, I heard there. Any discussion? Seeing none, Brad, a roll call, please.
Member Peterson,
Aye.
member Hockney,
Aye.
member Reindl,
Aye.
member Roche,
Aye.
member Starkey,
Aye.
and Chair Kaplan.
Aye.
The variations pass 6-0.
Sounds good. Congratulations, Mr. Siebert. I'm sure staff or you will be reaching out to each other to get those going. And hopefully you have a great building season.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Take care. Congratulations. Next up, we'll give staff just a minute to flip over. We'll be hearing 628-2021. And did you say that petitioner was in the room already, Krista?
I'm assuming it's the person that is on the iPhone, if they could unmute themselves.
Okay, we'll make sure that's them. If not, we'll go to the other iPhone person. If you could just identify yourself.
Hi, my name is Abbas Eladi. Yep, that's
Perfect.
for.
Sounds
yep.
good. Perfect. Staff, are you ready to proceed on that one?
Yes.
Sounds good. With that, everything applies to what we said before. He was on the phone when we swore in before, and I'll turn it over to staff for the staff presentation 628.
All right. This is ZBA case 000628-2021. It is a variation request to decrease the minimum setback from West Atlantic Avenue from 30 feet to 4.5 feet for the construction of an accessory building. The building wall shall be no closer than 5 feet to West Atlantic Avenue. The applicant is Abbas Alati. He's the record owner. The property address is 35781 North Green Bay Road, Waukegan, Illinois. It is approximately 0.45 acres and is a conforming lot in the general commercial zoning district. The legal notice for the case was published in the Daily Herald on April 16th, 2021. Correspondence about the case has been received from the Lake County Divisions of Engineering, Building, and Health. Abbas Alati will be presenting the application today. If you have any questions, I would be willing to take those.
Sounds good. Thanks, Eric. Any questions of staff? Hearing and seeing none, Mr. Alati, if you would like to give us an explanation of what you're looking to do.
Sure. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I've been in the 18 years in the location that I'm in. We are very conscious about the our environment, and we keep our properties very clean and groomed. And as of now, we don't have any facility to store our lawnmowers and snow blowing equipment. So we're just looking for a permit to build a shed or a storage to store those equipment for the seasons.
Sounds good. That is your testimony. We'll turn it over to the board for questions. We'll start with member Starkey. Any questions?
No questions.
Okay. And to save time, you can, we'll come back. Never mind. Member Roche.
No questions.
Perfect. Member Reindl.
No questions.
Sounds good. Member Peterson.
No questions.
Good. And member Hockney.
The only question I would have is any concern by the neighbors?
We do have a neighbor across the street from us, and we have spoken with them, and they have no nothing against it, and they were actually very happy that we could put a shed in there, that we could store our equipment.
I also spoke to that same neighbor because he saw me out there putting in the posters, and he didn't mention any objection to me either.
Great. Sounds good. Thanks to both of you for confirming that. Any other questions, Denny?
No, I'm good.
Perfect. With that, we'll just go around before we close testimony again. Denny, how you feeling on the case?
I'm good with it.
Perfect. Member Peterson?
All good.
Perfect. Member Reindl?
Very comfortable.
Sounds good. Member Roche?
No problem.
Good deal. Member Starkey?
I'm good.
Perfect. Sounds good. Sounds like you are looking pretty good there. Any final comments, sir, before we close testimony on your case and make a vote?
No, I just appreciate your time, and thank you very much.
Great. Thank you. We appreciate you being with us as well. With that, a motion would be in order to close testimony.
So moved.
First by member Starkey.
Second.
Second by member Roche. Any discussion? We're at a roll call, please.
Member Starkey,
Aye.
member Roche,
Aye.
member Hockney,
Aye.
member Peterson,
Aye.
member Reindl,
Aye.
and Chair Kaplan.
Aye.
Testimony is closed. 6-0.
Sounds good. With that, a motion would be in order then on case 628.
I'll move to approve case number 000628-2021. The applicant has made has shown that it's difficult to put this addition, this shed anywhere else except for the space that is in the building plans. And so long as the accessory building is consistent with the site plan, I so move to approve it.
Good. Got a first from member Peterson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from member Hockney. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing and seeing none, if you would have a roll call, Brad.
Member Peterson,
Aye.
member Hockney,
Aye.
member Rindle,
Aye.
member Roche,
Aye.
member Starkey,
Aye.
Chair Capman.
Aye.
The variations pass 6-0.
Sounds good. Mr. Luddy, it has passed. Continue to work with staff and good luck with your project.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And 642 will be our final case. And do we have that petitioner on the Zoom call?
Yes, it's Daniel Fitzgerald.
Perfect. Staff, are you good with that to start?
Yes, if everybody else is ready, I can start.
Perfect. Sounds good. 642, and we will turn that over to Brad for staff comments.
It's a ZBA case 000642/2021. It's a variance request to reduce the street yard setback from 30 feet to 0 feet to construct a garage addition. The applicant is Daniel Fitzgerald, who's the record owner. Property address is 1077 Glendale Avenue in Lake Bluff, Illinois. It's approximately 0.56 acres and is a legal non-conforming lot in the R1 zoning district. The legal notice is published in the Daily Herald on April 20th, 2021. Correspondence has been received from the Lake County Departments of Engineering, Building, and Health. The applicant, Daniel Fitzgerald, will present the application today. A couple of points of clarification. The applicant has informed us that he receives public water from the city of North Chicago. I think the report had it on a well, but I confirmed it with the health department this morning. He receives water from the city of North Chicago. And Krista, if you wanted to put up the aerial photos and the plat, I just wanted to give the heads up on the aerial photo and the plat. The aerial photos that you receive have property lines on them, but those property lines are approximations. So if you go to the first one I sent you all the way to the top. So the aerial photos in your packet, you'll see that the garage is for the purple line on that second aerial photo is over the property line. That property line is an approximation from our maps department. And if you scroll down to the second one, Krista, it's more of a blow up. See in the western part of this property, that's the garage. But if you go to the second slide, Krista, the plat, it is on the property line. So what the applicant wants to do, he has a 2-car garage, and you see that 10.4 by, I guess it would be 26.7. That's where the garage addition is going to go. Since that is a platted road, even though it's unimproved, it has a street yard setback for any new structure or any addition to a structure that does not currently meet the setback. So hopefully that clears things up regarding the request. I'd be happy to take any questions.
Sounds good. Thanks, Brad. Any questions of staff before we turn it over to Mr. Fitzgerald?
Brad, you did say something about the road being dedicated. Who is the beneficiary of the dedication?
So it's part of the Arden Shores subdivision, which was platted about 90 years ago. It was platted, but it's not publicly improved. Chris, if you want to go down to one right there, yeah, that's perfect. So right at that corner is where the public improved portion stops of Glendale. So if you go north, that's where it is privately maintained. The township has not accepted that road into the system. However, from a building permit standpoint, we can't assume that there'll never be a road there, even though at this time the township does not have a desire to improve the road. It still has a street setback because it's a platted road, even though it's unimproved.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions of staff? Hearing and seeing none, Mr. Fitzgerald, we will turn it over to you for a presentation on what you're wanting to do.
Okay. Thank you very much for considering my application. When we purchased the house, we didn't realize it was right on the property line. And the road that you were talking about, I maintain the entire road up to the garage. I've been doing that for 20 plus years. I'd like the option to be able to enlarge the garage in the future. And this is the reason for the petition, because more people are becoming to have, 3-car garages and everything. And I want to be able to make the garage, is desirable for anybody looking to buy the house and everything. And that's the reason for asking for the petition.
Sounds good. That concludes your testimony. We'll turn it over to the board members for any questions they may have on Brad's presentation or your testimony. Member Hockney?
It appeared that there were some markings that the markings that I saw out there. Is that where the proposed addition is going to be?
There aren't any markings there yet. There are markings, but they're for yard work, not for, and the ones and the island, those are so the snowplow wouldn't run into that, move the rocks and everything. So any markings.
I couldn't quite figure out how that was going to work. So.
Right.
That goes right up. That's an apartment building next door?
Yes, that's North Chicago.
Yeah. Were there any concerns from the residents of that area, apartments, or the owner of the apartment?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
That's all I have.
Okay, thanks, Danny. Member Peterson?
No questions.
Thanks, Maria. Member Reindl?
As you know, I always have a problem with zero setbacks. And from the looks of the petitioner's drawing here, that building could be revolved in a position that it wouldn't be a zero setback. That and the fact that the reason for doing this is for buyers in the future. I don't think the Zoning Board of Appeals is exactly the avenue for this petition to go ahead. That's all.
Mr. Fitzgerald, any comments?
Well, I'm right and currently am building part of a gym for myself inside of the garage. I have some work being done on it. And at one point I was going to put a shed on the other side, but I found out that I couldn't do it because it wasn't my property. So I have to wait, I can't make any building decisions or anything until my garage gets a waiver on the setback. And that, I have to go one space at a time, and I have to look at, when you have to look at a lot of different variances on it. So I have part of my garage, I'm going to be losing part of it for parking because of the exercise equipment that I'm putting in. So I'm going to be down to a 1-car garage, basically, and I will have to, make an extension. But right now, I can't make any plans or talk to a contractor in expanding that at this point.
Can you understand that the Zoning Board of Appeals obligation is not to look at financial either outcomes one way or the other, and to adjust ourselves to the setbacks only?
Well, currently, I have a 2-car garage. And after this weekend, it's going to go down to a 1-car garage. And so I'm going to have to make some decisions on, how to extend that garage, but I can't do anything or hire a contractor to do that until I know what I can do with the garage. And this is where I need your help.
Chair Caput, if
Yep.
I could jump in, I wanted to elaborate on the report. And there is a bit of a backstory with Mr. Fitzgerald, if I could jump in. Krista, if you could put up the aerial photo. So it's always been the applicant's desire to expand on the existing detached garage, which is right on the 0-foot property line. The applicant had a number of different of ways of remedying this. And all candor, his first request was to vacate the western portion of Glendale and that northern portion, which is called Broadway, which is north of the house. It's been unimproved. Some people call it a paper road. He actually attempted to file. And I'll try to be concise here. After the application, we had a conversation with our state's attorney is that would be problematic. It could be considered taking just because it might be eliminating access to the eastern property because there's a wetland there. So another option, what he could do is with that existing detached garage, he could file for what's called a legal non-conforming determination, meaning that it's been there for more than 20 years. It could have a legal non-conforming status if approved by the department. However, if that structure was destroyed more than 50% of the value, you could not put it up. So it's always been the applicant's intent to enlarge that garage. So he wanted to have the variance. Now, walking the property and from the photos, Chris, if you want to scroll down a little bit, there are some mature trees. If you go to the east side of the property, and the property slopes downwards towards the southeast. So any new garage would require possibly the removal of those mature trees. And there's at the edge of the wetland is at the far southeast corner. So I guess what my point is, and as far as the staff recommendation, the structure is already there, and he wants to add to the east side of that. If you were to remove that structure and put up a new structure that met the setbacks, it may, and I emphasize may be more problematic for the removal of those trees, and it being downslope of the property right now, closer to the wetland.
Good explanation, Rob. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Member Rindle, any other questions?
That was all. Thank you, Chair.
You're welcome, John. Member Roche.
I think now they've answered any questions that I had.
Good. Sounds good. Thanks. And Member Starkey.
My question was, why not try to purchase Glendale Avenue? But now I understand the property to the east is accessed from Glendale to Broadway. So that's why he can't purchase that property and not have an issue. Is that correct?
And if I remember, yes, that's potential to do it. It's not currently right now, but that there is that potential.
They have to leave the access to that property.
They do, and if it was removed via a vacation process, that could be considered a takings of land by a government through the vacation process. So that was deemed problematic by our state's attorney. So which we pivoted over to the variance process.
Okay, thank you. That was my only question about all that.
Sounds good, Linda. Thanks. And Brad, I appreciate your explanation on that too. It did help with my question as well. So I have nothing further. Any other questions of board members?
I question, Chair. He will not, in my opinion, he will not meet the standard with the 0 setback. Are we allowed to grant this with 2 of the obligations met? Follow me? I'm not sure.
That would be up to you, I guess, individually, if you'd like to, if you feel that way. I guess we'll wait to see as we go around if others have concerns on that as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And we will start with, let's see how everybody feels before we go back to the petitioner. Member Hockney, how you feeling?
I think I'm all right with it.
Sounds good. Member Peterson?
I think at this point, this is the best that this gentleman can do. Anything beyond that would be to take down trees. He's got wetlands and there'd be a costly road extension involved. And I think to tear down this garage and move it in a different direction would be cost beyond the reasonable costs.
Sounds good. Thanks, Member Peterson. Member Roche?
I think I'm okay now.
Perfect. Sounds good. Member Starkey?
I'm okay with it because the existing structure is the one that's on the 0 lot line. He's not adding in that direction. So that seems the most reasonable to me.
Great. Sounds good, Member Starkey. Member Reindl?
Appears to be outvoted, so he'll go along with it.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks for listening to everybody there. And I am okay with it too, based on, as Member Starkey said there too, that we are looking at that current structure in the 0 lot line. So I don't have any issues. Member Fitzgerald, any closing comments before we close testimony on this case?
No, I'm fine. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. And with that, a motion would be in order to close testimony.
So moved.
Moved from Starkey.
Second.
Second from Member Peterson. Any discussion? Roll call, Brad.
Member Starkey,
Aye.
Member Peterson,
Aye.
Member Hockney,
Aye.
Member Reindl,
Aye.
Member Roche,
Aye.
and Chair Kaplan.
Aye.
Testimony is closed.
Sounds good. With that, a motion would be in order for case 642-2021.
So move that we approve case number 000642-2021. Exceptional conditions peculiar to this property, simply that this existing building exists on the 0 lot line, and that he builds his garage in consistently with the site plan of this ZBA application.
Sounds good. We have a first from Member Peterson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Member Starkey. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none. Brad, roll call.
Member Peterson,
Aye.
Member Starkey,
Aye.
Member Hockney,
Aye.
Member Reindl,
Aye.
Member Roche,
Aye.
and Chair Kaplan.
Aye.
Variations passed 6-0.
Sounds good. Mr. Fitzgerald as well. Congratulations. And I'm sure you'll be working with staff and wish you best of luck.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Board members, if you want to stick on for just a minute, I did ask staff to give us a couple updates. And I do think we have our new court reporter with us today, if I'm not mistaken. Is that going to be our new permanent court reporter there?
Good morning.
Morning. Nice to meet you. And hopefully we look forward to meeting you in person too, and getting to know you a little better as well over the years. So welcome.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you. Thanks for joining us today. I did ask staff to give an update. As you saw, the cannabis, adult use cannabis did go through the process through committee, where there were some extensive comments as well. And then they also, it did pass ultimately the county board on Tuesday morning. So I just asked Krista to give us a little summary of kind of what we passed along and what changes were made on the final vote there. So Krista, I'll turn it over to you.
If I can interrupt,
Yeah.
I just want to let the court reporter go because this is not part of the applications.
100%.
Got it.
Thanks.
All
I'll
right.
talk to you later, Jamie.
Thanks.
No problem. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Perfect. Krista, we'll turn it over to you for a kind of a just brief updates.
Yep, thank you. So I think it might be helpful if I'd like to share my screen again, if you don't mind, and then we can it'll be easier for you to kind of see what the PWPT amendments were. So let me get that pulled up. So this was the exhibit that moved through your ZBA recommendations. We switched to the green color, and then the PWPT recommendations are in red. So the first couple of changes that they made was with the use table. So for the craft growers, the processing centers, and the infusers, rather than have those requiring a conditional use permit in the limited industrial and intensive industrial districts, they switched those to permitted by right. And then they also added an allowance for transporter businesses to potentially operate in the GC district, but those would require a conditional use permit. So those are the first couple of changes. And then we go to let's see. So then on page 2, the second change was with the some additional language that was incorporated into the minimum distance from protected uses. So we incorporated an exception to that sensitive use buffer requirement when the relevant portion of of any property contains inaccessible natural resources. So for example, if there's wetlands or it's pretty much all water, something that would make that property pretty much either inaccessible or unusable. So they added that exception, and then further clarified that if it is forest preserve property, so property that's owned by Forest Preserve, that the determination of whether or not that property would be accessible or inaccessible or unusable, we would work with Forest Preserve staff so that we make sure that we're accounting for any plans that they may have in the near or farther in the future. So if they have a plan to put in a boardwalk in a wetland, which would then make it accessible or usable, that we're not excluding that property necessarily. And then the third change, let me scroll to, so just to clarify, so that this language was incorporated in the dimensional standards for both the dispensary uses as well as the support organization uses. So you'll see that again as we scroll through. So then the next, sorry, I'm losing track of what page I'm in. So then the rest of the changes were incorporated into the section that deals with the support organization. So for the craft growers, processing centers, infusers, and cultivation centers, for those uses, those 3 uses, the growers, processors, and infusers that are permitted by right in the industrial zones, that a public information meeting shall be required. And we follow standard procedure per the ordinance. And then further, that staff could administratively impose additional reasonable conditions related to that proposal based on, so if we got feedback from the public information meeting, or if there was something identified that we could to add some other conditions to those specific proposals. And then finally, there was some language added to encourage applicants to incorporate environmentally sustainable features into the construction of their building and into their site. And then we listed out some ways that they may be able to incorporate those types of features. And then finally, the last one. So again, you see that same language that we incorporated here into the dimensional standards for the support organizations. So we made the buffer exception. So any
Perfect.
questions on that?
Good. I just thought it was important to circle back so the board saw that our comments were listened to. I did speak to some county board members too, and they did thank the entire board for all the work that we put on and for the folks that came forward to speak. So they were very appreciative of our time that was spent on it as well. Any questions of Krista about the final product that came out of there? None? Good. Well, good job on it. Any other questions or any comments from staff on anything coming up? May 27th, 9 a.m. is our next hearing on the schedule.
Yep.
Anything else from you guys that we should know about?
I don't believe so. I think we have one case that will be, Brad has a petitioner that will be moving forward on the 27th. So, and then that's all we have. That's all I have for now.
Great. Anything from any board members? Seeing none. Hope the 3 of you had a happy Mother's Day to those last weekend, and hopefully you get to enjoy the sunshine this weekend. Looks like warmer temperatures finally, so get out and enjoy them. But with that, a motion would be in order to adjourn then.
Motion to adjourn.
Sounds